Over 6 million Brits now live or work abroad, and that number's growing every single day. But here's what most people don't realise. A wave of global immigration rule changes is sweeping across the world, and UK passport holders are no longer being given a free pass. From once being able to hop across Europe with just a weekend bag, to now needing biometric scans, income proofs, or even degree re-verifications, the game has changed. Hard. Imagine landing in your dream destination, only to be denied entry because your visa doesn't meet the new criteria. Or worse, having a job offer withdrawn because your university degree wasn't properly attested. It's already happening to thousands of Brits. These rules aren't just targeting immigrants from war-torn regions or developing nations. They're aimed at everyone. And if you're planning to work remotely, retire in the sun, travel frequently, or simply take a gap year, you're already on the radar. So what exactly are these rules? Which countries are behind them? And how can you avoid the costly mistakes many are already making? In this video, we're breaking down the 10 global immigration rules that are quietly rewriting the travel playbook for all Brits. Some are in your favour, but others could change everything, from your holiday plans to your long-term future abroad. The surprises start right now, and by the end, you'll be 10 steps smarter about where, how, and even if you can travel in 2025. Rule number 1. The rise of the digital nomad visa. Over the past few years, a quiet revolution has been reshaping how we think about work, and immigration laws are catching up. One of the most impactful changes for Brits is the rise of the digital nomad visa, a new type of visa that allows people to live abroad while working remotely for a foreign employer. And yes, that includes working from a beach cafe in Bali while being on the payroll of a London-based company. More than 40 countries have now launched or are preparing digital nomad schemes. Countries like Spain, Portugal, Estonia, and Croatia are leading the charge, offering 1 to 2 year visas with minimal bureaucracy. This is a game changer for UK freelancers, remote employees, and even digital entrepreneurs. But there's a catch. Most countries require proof of a stable monthly income, usually around €2,000 to €3,500, depending on the destination. You'll also need private health insurance and, in some cases, a clean criminal record. Some even ask for a remote work contract or proof that your clients are based outside the host country. The benefits? You can live tax efficiently, explore new cultures, and enjoy higher quality of life while still working a UK job. If you're considering this route, start preparing bank statements, employment contracts, and proof of income in advance. Each country's rules vary slightly, so always check their official immigration portal before applying. The era of location freedom has begun, and Brits are perfectly positioned to take advantage. This isn't just travel, it's a lifestyle shift backed by law. Rule number 2. Post-Brexit work. Visa restrictions in the EU. Since Brexit, the days of freely working across Europe as a Brit are over. What once was a seamless process now involves layers of bureaucracy, costs, and strict visa requirements. For UK citizens dreaming of working in France, Germany, Italy, or any EU country, this rule is a game changer. Each European nation now treats Brits like any other non-EU citizen, meaning you must apply for country-specific work permits. There's no longer a single gateway. This has led to increased application fees, longer processing times, and more intense qualification checks. In practical terms, even securing a seasonal job at a ski resort or barista role in Berlin now involves a full visa application, including sponsorship from an employer, and often proof of language proficiency or local accommodation. And that's before you factor in biometric appointments, health checks, and insurance requirements. A few countries have softened the blow through bilateral agreements. France, for instance, has streamlined certain youth mobility and professional visas. But this is the exception, not the rule. One helpful workaround is the EU Blue Card, a scheme aimed at highly skilled workers. If you're in tech, medicine, or engineering, this may fast-track your approval, but you'll still need to prove a job offer with a certain salary threshold. If you're a Brit with plans to work in Europe, start early. Research the specific requirements of your target country and be ready with documentation. The freedom of movement may be gone, but opportunity still exists. You just have to work a bit harder for it now. Rule number 3. Canada's points-based immigration overhaul. Canada has long been a favourite for Brits seeking a fresh start, but recent changes to their express entry system have reshaped who gets in and how. In 2025, Canada introduced a major update to its points-based immigration system, focusing on labour shortages in key industries. If you're a Brit working in tech, healthcare, construction, or green energy, this is great news. Canada is now offering category-based selection draws, meaning applicants in high-demand professions are prioritised even if their total point score isn't the highest. The express entry system scores applicants based on factors like age, education, work experience, and language proficiency, specifically in English and French. Brits tend to score well, especially on the IELTS exam, which remains a core requirement. What's changed is that a job offer is no longer strictly necessary, especially if you fall into a favoured occupation. Instead, your profession alone could put you ahead of thousands. Canada is also placing more emphasis on work experience over degrees, so practical skills now carry more weight than ever before. However, competition has intensified. Applicants must now be more strategic. Make sure your occupation code matches Canada's in-demand list. Boost your language scores and update your resume to Canadian standards. For Brits who've been on the fence about emigrating, this could be the perfect time. Canada isn't just welcoming immigrants, it's targeting them. And British professionals with the right skill set are right at the top of the list. Rule number 4. Stricter biometric screening at US borders. If you're a Brit travelling to the United States, get ready for longer lines and stricter security checks. As of 2025, the US has expanded its biometric screening program to cover nearly all foreign visitors, including those entering under the Visa Waiver Program, ESTA. Previously, biometric data like fingerprints and facial scans were collected selectively. Now, they're mandatory for nearly every non-citizen arrival, including tourists, students, and business travellers from the UK. The US government cites national security and identity verification as key reasons for the rollout. What does this mean for Brits? First, expect longer wait times at airports. Biometric kiosks are replacing many traditional customs counters, requiring you to scan your face, passport, and fingerprints upon arrival. In some airports, even voice recognition trials are underway. More importantly, biometric mismatches or incomplete records can result in denied entry, even if your ESTA is approved. This has already caused delays and detentions for travellers with name changes, previous arrests, or mismatched passport data. The US also shares biometric data with international partners, so any issues in one country could follow you elsewhere. Privacy advocates have raised concerns, but the system is expanding regardless. To prepare, make sure your passport details match your travel records and avoid last-minute bookings that could trigger red flags. If you've changed your name or had past visa issues, consider consulting an immigration advisor before travel. Security is tighter, scrutiny is higher, and for Brits, the once simple trip across the Atlantic now demands more diligence than ever. Rule number 5. Australia's new skilled migration priorities. Australia has revamped its skilled migration program, and the impact on Brits hoping to move down under is significant. With a growing need in critical sectors like healthcare, education, and infrastructure, the Australian government has shifted its focus toward targeted skills and regional development. Under the new system, the skilled occupation list, which determines who is eligible for various visas, has been updated. Some previously common professions, like general marketing roles and hospitality management, have been dropped or deprioritized. In contrast, demand for nurses, teachers, and engineers has surged. One major change: Australia now heavily encourages migration to regional areas rather than major cities like Sydney or Melbourne. Applicants willing to live and work in regional zones get priority processing, extra visa points, and even pathways to permanent residency. Brits applying under this new framework must also meet higher English language thresholds, often demonstrated through IELTS or PTE scores. In addition, the emphasis on skills verification has increased, meaning you'll need to have your qualifications assessed by Australian authorities. Also, expect stricter checks on employment history, criminal records, and financial stability. A well-prepared application is more important than ever. Delays are common for those missing even minor paperwork. For Brits with the right skill set and a willingness to explore beyond the big cities, these changes open exciting opportunities. But if your profession no longer qualifies, it may be time to upskill or pivot before reapplying. Rule number 6. EU's entry-exit system, launching 2025. Planning a trip to Europe. Starting in 2025, the European Union is launching the Entry-Exit System, EES, a digital overhaul that will affect every non-EU traveller, including all British citizens. The EES is designed to replace manual passport stamping with a high-tech system that digitally records entry and exit at all Schengen area borders. This includes popular destinations like France, Italy, Spain, and Germany. For Brits, this means your travel history will now be tracked automatically. No exceptions. What's being recorded? Every time you enter or leave the EU, the system will log the date, location, passport data, and even a facial scan or fingerprint. That's right, biometric data will be part of the standard process. Why does this matter? Because overstaying your 90-day visa-free limit within any 180-day period will now trigger automatic penalties, including entry bans or future visa rejections. The system is accurate, fast, and leaves no room for error or excuses. Even short holidays count. A weekend in Paris, followed by a business trip to Berlin a month later. It all adds up. The EES ensures that travellers stick to their allowed time. No more resetting the clock by hopping to a non-EU country and back. To avoid problems, Brits should track their own travel days carefully and consider using EES-compatible mobile apps once they launch. And remember, while this isn't a visa, it functions like one when it comes to enforcement. The freedom to roam Europe is still alive, but now it comes with digital strings attached. Rule number 7. Retirement visa changes in Southeast Asia. For years, Southeast Asia has been a dream retirement destination for Brits seeking sunshine, affordability, and a slower pace of life. But now, popular countries like Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia are tightening the rules for their retirement visa programs, and the changes are already affecting thousands. Previously, retirees could secure long-stay visas with minimal bureaucracy. But as of 2025, governments are demanding stricter proof of financial stability. For instance, Thailand now requires retirees to show over 800,000 baht, around £17,500, in a local bank account or a monthly income of at least £1,500. Additionally, all applicants must now have private health insurance that covers up to £100,000, including COVID-19 treatment. This alone has caused applications to be rejected due to policy limits or exclusions. In Malaysia, the Malaysia My Second Home MM2H program has introduced higher income thresholds, visa fees, and security bonds. These hurdles make it harder for middle-income retirees to qualify. Even Indonesia, once a flexible option, is now asking for property leases, local sponsorship, and annual visa renewals instead of multi-year stays. So what's driving this shift? Governments want to attract high-value foreigners who contribute more to the local economy and health systems, especially in a post-pandemic world. If you're a Brit considering retirement in Southeast Asia, plan ahead. Ensure your pension documents, bank statements, and insurance policies are in order, and don't assume last year's rules still apply. Check the latest immigration updates from each country's official sites. Retirement in paradise is still possible, but it's no longer a casual move. It now demands careful financial and legal preparation. Rule number 8. Gulf countries requiring degree attestation. For Brits heading to the Gulf region, think UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, to work, teach, or launch a business. There's a new immigration hurdle you can't afford to ignore: degree attestation. As of 2025, Gulf nations now strictly enforce the requirement that UK academic degrees must be officially verified by both UK authorities and the destination country's embassy. This process is not optional. It's mandatory for securing most work permits and residency visas. So what is degree attestation? It's a formal process that confirms your university credentials are genuine. It involves getting your certificate notarized, then verified by the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, followed by attestation from the embassy of the Gulf country you're moving to. The catch? It's time-consuming. What used to be an informal check has turned into a bureaucratic bottleneck, with delays lasting 4 to 8 weeks or more. Some Brits have been denied entry or had job offers rescinded because they didn't complete this step in time. Industries most affected include education, engineering, healthcare, and finance. Essentially, any role requiring a university degree. Even vocational certifications are being scrutinized more than ever. If you're planning to move to Dubai, Doha, or Riyadh, start this process early, preferably before even applying for your visa. Make sure your degree is authentic, translated if required, and has no errors in spelling or dates. This isn't just red tape, it's a gatekeeper. Without proper attestation, you may not even make it through immigration clearance. In the Gulf, a stamped degree is now your real passport to opportunity. Rule number 9. UK's reciprocal healthcare agreements. Good news for Brits travelling or relocating abroad. The UK has been renewing and expanding its reciprocal healthcare agreements with several countries, offering a safety net for those living, working, or even just vacationing overseas. As of 2025, new or updated deals have been signed with nations like Australia, New Zealand, and some EU countries, allowing British citizens to access subsidised or even free healthcare services while abroad. This is especially valuable for retirees, digital nomads, and long-term travellers who previously had to rely on private insurance for even the most basic care. The most recognised tool in this system is the UK Global Health Insurance Card, GHIC, which replaced the EHIC post-Brexit. This card entitles Brits to state-provided healthcare in partner countries, usually on the same terms as local citizens. But here's the catch. It doesn't cover everything. GHICs don't replace travel insurance. You'll still need extra coverage for things like private treatment, emergency evacuations, or delays due to illness. Also, coverage varies by country. In Australia, for example, reciprocal care covers GP visits and hospital stays, but not ambulances or prescription drugs. In New Zealand, it only covers emergency care. To make the most of this benefit, ensure your GHIC is valid and up to date before travelling. Also, register with local health services as required when staying longer than a few months. This isn't just about convenience, it's about financial protection. One medical emergency abroad can cost thousands. With the right planning and documentation, Brits can now enjoy peace of mind and access to essential healthcare without the full financial burden. Rule number 10. Increased visa fees and travel taxes. Worldwide, travelling abroad is no longer just about booking flights and packing your bags. Now, it also means paying more in visa fees and entry taxes. In 2025, many countries have introduced higher immigration costs that Brits must factor into their travel plans. Let's start with visa applications. The Schengen visa, required for Brits visiting much of Europe for longer stays or specific purposes, has seen a fee hike to over £85 per application. Other countries like India, China, and Turkey have followed suit, with increased charges for processing and express services. But it's not just about visas anymore. A growing number of countries now impose tourist taxes, entry or stay fees charged directly to visitors. For example, Bali introduced a new £9 tourism levy payable on arrival, while Venice has launched a daily entry fee system to limit crowding. Even transit through certain airports now comes with green taxes or carbon offset surcharges particularly in regions focusing on sustainable tourism. These hidden charges can stack up quickly, especially for families or frequent travellers. Why the rise? Governments say the extra revenue supports infrastructure, tourism sustainability, and post-pandemic recovery. But for Brits used to seamless European travel, these added costs are a new financial reality. Before you travel, check official embassy sites or immigration portals for updated fees. Budget not just for flights and hotels, but also for visa costs, entry levies, and even departure taxes. What used to be a quick getaway now comes with a growing price tag. For Brits, smart travel planning now includes wallet awareness at the border. The world of travel and migration isn't what it used to be. From digital nomad visas to biometric crackdowns, and from skyrocketing visa fees to healthcare loopholes, these changes are more than paperwork. They're reshaping how Brits move, live, and thrive abroad. Whether you're planning to retire in Thailand, work remotely in Spain, or simply jet off for a quick Euro trip, staying ahead of these new global rules is no longer optional. It's essential. One missed document, one overlooked policy, and your journey could stop before it even begins. But here's the silver lining. Knowledge is your passport now. If you've watched this far, you're already ahead of the curve. You now know what most people won't realise until it's too late. We'd love to hear from you. Which of these new rules surprised you the most? Are you already planning a move? Or were these changes a deal breaker? Drop a comment below, like you're stamping your virtual passport. We read every single one. And hey, if you found value in this video, imagine what we've got coming next. We pour hours of research, scripting, and editing into every episode so you can stay informed in under 10 minutes. So hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means the world to us. Turn on the bell icon too, because the next rule change might just affect your next flight.